Today is today's the 9th. That's fine. So the purpose is, so you're not, the first time you do it, you're not meant to have all the answers. Then we go through this, so we haven't finished going through the presentation, maybe you look through it. But then as we go through it, then you will understand the part that maybe you weren't sure. And then at the end, you'll do it again, and then see, now I know that these things are. I didn't know before. So we'll quickly. So this is the answer key. So you can check just for yourself. Yeah, just for yourself, and then you can see how many you got right. It's good. Most people don't get even that much. Where's the focus? Everything's not good with this projector, no? I don't know what's going on. I think the lens is loose. Okay, so 8. The other, so actually, one of the things we will talk a bit about today is doing a needs assessment, right, of a community, whatever. Any kind of assessment, which this is also. And part of the reason the major reason for doing an assessment is so that you know where you're starting from, so you can, and what should be the steps that will help to improve. If you don't know where you're starting from, then you can have all sorts of wonderful ideas, but they may not work because they don't match where people are at or what is actually the need. Okay. So keep it, and then the next time we come back to it, and you do it again, then you can see, I think I might have some other numbers. This will be higher. Okay, so, it's nice doing the extended, but I'm just going to mirror because I can't see very well in there. So I said we have 6 weeks left. I wanted to, where are we now? Rearranging stuff. So I said we have 6 weeks left, so I thought we'll start with just checking into where we are in terms of the course outline. And oh yeah, this is the one. This. Right. questions? So, we're not going to go through the details just from the start of the course, but just to see. So we've covered basically 1 and 2, that was early on, overview, introduction, management. And then we're kind of in this feasibility, which might feel like, oh my goodness, we're more than halfway through the semester, we're still doing feasibility. And I'm not worried about it, because actually, we're doing feasibility, but we also jumped down and we're doing this number 8, which is a big, important part also. And so we're doing 3 to 8 kind of together, because actually they do go together. And then in the next weeks, so this week, I want to finish presenting about this and introducing the next piece of so you know how at the end of the course you will have all these documents that are part of the project, sort of leading up to a project proposal. So the next one will be the needs assessment, which you will prepare for next week. And then in the following weeks, then we'll look at things like so part of the project planning, then the work breakdown structure, budgeting and costs, scheduling, resource allocation, project control, risk management, communication, we're doing it already, and evaluation and closure. And roughly 1 of those topics per week will complete the semester. And then every week there should be some, then doing creating the work breakdown structure, creating the resource allocation chart, and so on, as the activity that goes towards the project proposal.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, here on that check, we did this right.
Yeah, so when we get there, I won't have to spend long on it. But it'll be, what I'm thinking when we get to that one is more, so like I introduced what it is, but now it will be let's do one. How do you make one? What tools do you use? So I'm also planning that either we use the computer lab, or if you have a laptop, then we'll actually sit and we'll create. We'll start creating it, and then you can finish at home, and then that'll be part of the portfolio. Other questions? Yes. I had sent you all this as a PDF, right, the whole presentation. Have you looked at the whole thing? Do you remember how far you got? If I show you the title. You can use the map and check it out. Also, as you know, Joseph said it would be helpful to have the actual presentation, because it shows when things appear one at a time. On the PDF, it's just everything is on the page. So I uploaded it to the course page. So you can download the presentation. Yeah. So you can download the actual presentation where it goes through like this step by step.
I think all this information on the model, can I go back on the way I finish everything? I took on the long frame.
Okay. Long frame is evaluation. I went into the log frame. Yeah, log frame probably needs a bit more explanation. Okay. And time we ended, I think around here. You did we discuss this?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
We discussed it, yes.
so that's what we did, and we didn't go into this yet. Okay, so, can you go up to Then, so what I was thinking for this morning is sort of only a combination. One, we start with kind of a tutorial. So the part that you did read, so we finished this, we didn't discuss it.
Yeah, we did.
One thing to point out is when you know the whole project life cycle, like the setup, initiation, identification and definition, then setup and planning, implementation, and closure. Okay? So if you think about that, how does that map onto this? Or how does this map onto that? How does this fit into those stages? And I will, yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure. So we have identification and definition, then setup, and then I think we had planning and implementation. And closure. And it went from this to this, and then into planning, into implementation, back into planning, and eventually to closure. Or I guess implementation goes to closure, not planning to closure. So there might be some loops, or it might just go planning, implementation. And what I'm asking is, when you look at this diagram, which is there's design, there's some things, there's a proposal, maybe, there's testing, development and testing.
Yeah, that's what it's going to do.
And then there's evaluations down here. There's two of them.
That's the middle and that's the end of the
And then this has lessons learned. So evaluation goes here, design, something else goes in design. So when you look at this diagram, we have that, let's say this is A, B, C, D, E. Where does this fit? A, B, C, D, or D?
Design.
B. Let's say B.
Or it may be B or C.
B or C.
But I think it goes.
Okay, what was it now?
Yes.
This was in red. This was the M&E design. Remember, this is about the DME system.
Yeah.
So it's not everything in the project, it's some parts of the whole project.
Yeah.
So there are other parts to a project, of course, that are not shown here. So this is the causal diagram, logical diagram, log frame, logical diagram, causal diagram, log frame, indicators in there, sort plan, and fall. Where would the proposal go?
But in terms of clearance,
In terms of, like you're writing a proposal to the donor agency, for example.
so you have identified the need to be a
It would be an A. Okay. And so these things happen before that. And then, so this would also be part of A. Now, development and testing of your monitoring and evaluation tools, instruments.
Implementing. You are testing by implementing.
What does it say on this line?
On what?
For
Development and testing, data collection.
this one.
Data collection
Tools.
to
What is the data collection?
Okay, I'm not sure. Whether we are collecting data before and after the proposal.
So, data collection tools would be, for example, a survey. That's a tool for collecting data. And you go house to house and ask questions and issue answers. Another tool might be our accounting system. And we're going to, part of our monitoring is how much money have we spent. So my tool is from the accounting system, I need this and this data, these and these reports. That's my tool. It might be, maybe it's an environmental project, we need to go test, or a health project, we need to test the water from the well in the village. So someone has to go and do the test and then write down what is the results for each of the wells. That's my data collection tool. It's whatever, it's an activity, so, well, so the tool is not an activity, but there is an activity to collect data. That's what, when we talk about monitoring and evaluation, we're talking about work that someone has to do to collect data. Monitoring and evaluation is about data. And what data you're going to collect, how you're going to collect it. Is it a survey? Is it doing a test of the water? Is it going and counting how many cattle there are this month? Whatever it is, there's a tool you use to record that information, the kind of information you record. And then you want to test, does the tool actually tell me what I want to know? Let's say we plan that, okay, we're going to do a survey, and we design this beautiful form that you use a tablet and you can put in all the information and you get all the results live. And then you go to the village, you're sitting in the office and everybody designed the form, everybody's excited, we have all the tablets. So we go to the village, there's no internet. Our phone doesn't work. There's no internet. So the tool that you have designed doesn't work where you need it. That's why you test it to see before you actually go and say, okay, in 2 months we have to go collect data. No internet. So you test it before. You send someone, does it work? And then they come back and say, actually there's no internet. Okay, so we need to make the form an offline form. So now we have time to change the tool. So it's an offline form. So then when we go to use it, there is online. So this development and testing of the tools. Tools doesn't just mean the physical gadget. It also means conceptually, is it that you're counting things, you're measuring, so it's the level of salt in the water, the number of cases at the hospital, how many new businesses have been started, how many children are going to school. That's your tool, that's part of the tool, when we say tool in this context. The thing that helps you to measure, to quantify. So the development and testing, then from what I described, it would have to come before you actually go and implement. So, it would probably go maybe in planning. Part of the planning and setting up, do we have everything in order? Would be to do So setup I think involves a bit more of, if you think of the people who identify and define are, is not necessarily the project manager. So you're an organization, and you're coming out with a proposal, and if it gets funded, then you set up the project. You go hire a project manager, you hire the project, and then this takes some time. So first you hire a project manager, you discuss with them what people you need exactly. So here you have some idea, but now you have to discuss a bit more, and then go and hire who are the first people you will need for the start of the project, what equipment will you need, you set up the things. One helpful way, I think, of thinking about it, a project is a temporary organization. An organization is like a business, it's like an NGO, whatever. A project in any business project, a charity project, a development project, whatever, is a temporary organization. The defining feature of a project is it has a beginning and an end. So whenever you do something you know has a beginning and an end, in a sense, it's a project. But it has a structure. A project isn't everybody does what they want. That's why we're learning all these things. It has a team of people. It has a purpose. It has goals. It has certain requirements. It has a structure, who reports to who is responsible for what. It has certain ways of working. A lot of the things, most of the things that any other organization has, a project has. And just like any other organization, if you start an organization, you have to start setting up, okay, how are we going to manage finances? How are we going to manage human resources? How are we going to manage our operations? Who's going to do what? Do we need documentation about X, Y, Z? Do we need policies? Do we need regulatory approval? Do we have to go to the Ministry of ABCD and say, can we have permission to do such and such? All of these things, do we have to go buy equipment, supplies to start my business? So there's a time of setting up your business. The same thing with projects. You have to set up your project. That's the idea of the setup phase. If you think of a project as a temporary organization, and just like any other organization that is starting, you need some time to set things up. So the setup is kind of putting the structures in place. Maybe if we take the example of you're starting a school. So attendance vacation and definition, and we decide, the ministry decides we're going to create a school in the community. And then the setup is, okay, in order to have a school, we need to hire a headmaster, we need to hire teachers, we need to decide on the curriculum, we need to get the equipment, books, blackboard, whatever. We need to maybe rent a building. We're not going to build one because we want to start, maybe later we'll build one. Now we'll just rent a building, define the building. So there's those initial things you have to do. Then the planning is, okay, I've hired the head mistress and the teachers and said this is the high level, this is the mission of the school is to raise children who have good character and are well educated. Now I give it to you, and now you and your team of teachers who have just been hired. Now you have to go and plan, how are we going to run the school? Which classes are going to be at what time? When do we have staff meetings? Who's going to teach what subject? Do we need to have trainings for some of us? All of that. How do we actually run the school? Right? That's the plan. Which is different than the setup. So the setup the ministry is doing the setup. The planning is now the people of the school who do the planning. Right? And then you implement, and you start teaching. And you teach one semester, and then you say, okay, maybe halfway through the semester, you say, let's review how it's going. Maybe we need to change some of the classes, or we need to change the schedule, or we need to involve the parents more, so we have to set up a parents committee. So we're doing some of this. And then at the end of the year, 10 years or something, the ministry says, wonderful, thank you for the school. Now we're going to close it. Now there's a permanent school and a temporary school is not needed anymore. Or this temporary organization, now we want it to become permanent. So we close the project and we hand it over to, so I'm going to change it. Instead of the ministry set up the school, let's say an NGO. Okay, so we're going to set up the school for 3 years. We're going to try to get it going. So that NGO identified, they found the headmistress, they did all the setup. The story doesn't change, I'm just changing who started. And then after 3 years, they say it's going well, and then dear ministry, we take it over now as a regular permanent school. So you close the project, the NGO is we're done. Now we give it to the community and the ministry to carry on with no end. That's one way that a project can end. Is that it? Yeah. Okay, so that's the identification and definition, the setup and planning. So when you're doing this development and testing, who do you think does this? So, actually, let's think about something else. If you're writing a proposal, the design comes, it's not very clear, but right, it goes like this comes before this. Right? So if this is part of A, then this has to be also A, actually. The design. So this definition, identification is kind of, you look around and you say there are many things we could do. We have this purpose of empowering the girl child. Okay, what does that mean? How do you empower the girl child? You can do anything. So you have to identify what are we could be trading to the mothers. That will help empower the girl child. We could have an agriculture project that they are better fed, better nourished, that can perform better in school. We could do some health project where the girls need menstrual products so they don't in school because they have bacteria. Those are very different projects. So you have to identify which one do you want to do. So part of identifying is a needs assessment. And you say, well, what are the needs? We have a general, we want to do something to empower the girl child. So what is the status of the girls today? So we do a needs assessment. What are the possibilities? Then from the needs assessment, we study it, we analyze, we say, okay, it looks like this is the major need and priority. So let's make a project for this. So now let's define this project. Let's say, okay, we've identified this is the thing that we want to work on. What will that look like? So that's the design. Design is this definition. What is the design of the project? What is the house? What is it aiming to achieve? How will it achieve it? You look like you have a question. What are you thinking?
I think you answered my question because of what do you have to identify? You have to identify in one way. So I think when you start with explanation, you have a question.
Okay. So, what we're saying then, and this is really like, when we say to design, it's not that you designed, you finished designing, and now you do this. This is part of design, actually. To design is to do these things.
Okay, after
Among others, this and this.
I was thinking that one on the I think it can be part of on the project before something you can do it again as well. Where by closing the project where we can do the monitoring and is it related?
Yes. So this was the monitoring and evaluation system. And the idea, so when we started at the beginning of the presentation, we said, why is monitoring? Most people think of monitoring and evaluation as something that we design the project, we plan, we've done all the work, then we bring in, okay, come, let's touch the monitoring, we need some monitoring and evaluation. Here's our plan, come and monitor, come and evaluate your M&E team. And what the development world has learned is that's a bad way to do it. Monitoring and evaluation is not this activity that you add after all the other planning work is done. Monitoring and evaluation, if we understand its true role, is something that we think about from the very beginning. It helps you in creating a better design. Why do